everyone, my name is Mandira. Welcome to AglaSem, and today we are going to be studying Class 10, Chapter number 4, Gender, Religion and Caste. So in this chapter, as the name suggests, we are going to talk about the gender differences, the gender issues in a country, the religious issues, communal issues in a country, जिसके बारे में मैं आपको बताऊंगी, and the caste related issues and how a democracy can handle these issues well, how some people have been discriminated against in the past, but we need to buck up and ensure that the society is at level now, and how a democracy is actually a best shot at achieving that. So let's start with the first heading, that is that of gender and politics. So इसमें हम बात करेंगे the gender division that has existed for a very long time. Gender division tends to be understood as a natural and unchangeable form of division. However, it is not based on biology but on social expectations and stereotypes. For example, I think the other day someone was linked me to a YouTube video where is this, someone was talking about how women have certain kind of genes in them. तो कुछ genetic women की ऐसी चीजें होती हैं that make them better at cleaning. And I thought that obviously I'm also a researcher, and I thought that is very it's Dash बहुत ही एक बकवास उन्होंने क्लेम किया था ऐसा. So I was laughing at it. I was thinking कि ऐसे भी कई लोग believe कर सकते हैं that there is certain kind of DNA that is predisposing you to cleaning, and this exists in I saw that video last year in 2020. So ये जो हम लोग बना लेते हैं अपने दिमाग में that certain people are better at doing certain things, then that जो है ना, that is not the biology that you are referring to. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है कि biologically women are more inclined to household jobs या फिर men are more inclined to, let's say, military jobs. That's not true. It's just the stereotype that we have created, and it's also the way these jobs have been done for the past hundreds of years. ठीक है, क्योंकि हमारे ancestors, उनके ancestors ने ये देखा है कि women are more likely to clean because that was supposed to be their work in the past. That's why they have made up their head that maybe they are better at cleaning, but that's not true. I mean, and that's not true by biology. Maybe उनके stereotype के according ये true है. So these kind of differences still exist. It's called the sexual division of labor, which is that women will do inside work such as cooking, cleaning, washing clothes, tailoring, looking after children, etc., and men will do all the outside work. It is not that men cannot do household work. They simply think that it is for women to attend to these things. आपने कभी नोटिस किया होगा कि आजकल लोग बात करते हैं that आजकल women के पास कौन से rights नहीं है. They have all the rights. And कोई नहीं रोक रहा है आपको काम करने के लिए. You can go out and work and all those kinds of things people say. तो आज की डेट में हमें फेमिनिज्म की या आज की डेट में हमें जेंडर पॉलिटिक्स की क्या जरूरत है? So the point is that कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में तो अनटचेबिलिटी भी बैंड है, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में जेंडर बेस्ड डिस्क्रिमिनेशन भी बैंड है, बट इट इज नॉट हैपनिंग इन द रियल वर्ल्ड. एज अ वुमेन आई कैन वाउच फॉर दैट डेफिनेटली इन ऑल प्लेसेस ऑफ वर्क आपको कहीं ना कहीं जेंडर डिस्क्रिमिनेशन फेस करना पड़ता है. एंड अब क्या हो गया है that women are allowed to go out and work, so that's great. Now you go out, you do all your office job, and you come back home and you cook and you take care of the children. So it is almost as if कि चलो आप बाहर का भी कर लो और घर का भी कर लो. That has become the new accepted norm. So that's not fair. And आज की डेट में भी आप कभी देखना, अगर अगेन मैं वही बोलती हूँ कि अगर आपको लगता है कि जेंडर डिस्क्रिमिनेशन एग्जिस्ट नहीं करता है, तो आप में से कितने लोग की जब फैमिली गैदरिंग्स होती है उसमें the males are sitting and the women are expected to go, no matter how young they are, even if they are 10, 13, 14 years old, they are expected to go in the kitchen, help with the kitchen stuff. कभी अगर किसी ने ऐसी पार्टी अटेंड करी हो जिसमें सारी लेडीज बाहर हो और सारे आदमी अंदर बैठ के खाना बना रहे हो, then that is very good because that's very progressive. But unfortunately, I in my lifetime have not attended such a party, and I think most of you will not have. So ऐसी बात नहीं है कि if you stop seeing then it doesn't exist, but we can still see that gender discrimination exists in our society, especially with regards to homework. कि जो घर का काम है वो तो definitely ladies ही करेंगी, चाहे वो बाहर का काम करें या ना करें, है ना. The result of this division of labor is also that women constitute half of the humanity. Their role in public life, especially politics, is minimal in most societies. So आज की डेट में भी I think I was following the election a couple of months back, and I was wondering that Miss Mamata Banerjee is probably the only chief minister in India, one of the only, I mean if not the only. तो मैं यही सोच रही थी कि she is the only chief minister, female chief minister in India, और बाकी अगर दो चार और exist भी करती हैं, we know that there in politics it's all men. आप आज देख लीजिए कि हमारे चीफ मिनिस्टर के जो 2 मेजर कैंडिडेट्स थे दिल्ली के, वो भी मेन थे, जो प्राइम मिनिस्टरियल कैंडिडेट्स हैं वो भी मेन हैं, है ना. इनफैक्ट यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स, जिसको सब लोग बेंचमार्क मानते हैं प्रोग्रेस का, they just elected their first female vice president. Can you imagine that there has, and up तक United States में there has not been even one female president. So world is at still that level that we do not accept women in positions of power, and that is due to the rigorous discrimination and stereotype behavior that they have faced, which kind of suggests that women cannot be good leaders, है ना. अभी तक लोगों ने accept नहीं किया उस चीज को कि women can be good leaders. तो ये इसका एक रियल टाइम रेपरकशन है. इनफैक्ट आई डिड माई थीसिस ऑन दिस when I was in college, तो with regards to social media, तो this is definitely very close to my heart also. So अब feminist movements की बात करते हैं, feminism की बात करते हैं. The definition of feminist movements or feminism is that I love how this line is written, that more radical women's movements aimed at equality in personal and family life as well are known as feminist movements. So the idea of equality between men and women, that if women choose, they can stay at home, but they should not be made to stay at home just because it's their duty. So they are giving agency and choice to women, and they are basically asking for equality between men and women. That is the definition of feminist movement. And I love how they've written it like radical movement. So basically the idea of equality between men and women is radical. So ऐसा नहीं है, it is very normalized, should be very normalized. That's how it exists. ठीक है. यहाँ पर हम बात करते हैं political expression of gender division and political mobilization. On these questions have helped improve women's role in public life. Almost in India we were blessed to have leaders. हमारे जो freedom fighters थे, they were very although that was also pretty male dominated at that point, but they were still very progressive about it, that they gave women the right to vote. But in most of the countries around the world, women have had to struggle and protest for their right to vote. I think in Saudi Arabia they were just protesting for the right to drive, and it was the last country in the world to give the women the right to drive. तो बहुत सारे these kind of equalities do exist. ठीक है. तो यहाँ पे बात करते हैं एक और टर्म की, आर्स सोसाइटी, जहाँ पे लिखा है अकॉर्डिंग टू द बुक इज स्टिल डोमिनेटेड एंड पेट्रियार्कल, मेल डोमिनेटेड एंड पेट्रियार्कल. पेट्रियार्कल सोसाइटी वो होती है जिसमें द स्टैचर ऑफ अ मैन इज बिगर और बेटर देन द स्टैचर ऑफ अ वुमन. तो आप देखोगे कि अगर आपके लास्ट नेम्स भी हैं, दे आर ऑन योर फादर्स नेम, दे आर नॉट ऑन योर मदर्स नेम. इन आई थिंक इन मोस्ट states in India, I'm not sure about some of them, लेकिन dominant अगर आप देखोगे तो आपके father का नाम आप inherit करते हो. This is an example of a patriarchal society where the man is the head of the family. Okay, and it's not always it is obviously disadvantageous to women because they are not the head of the families, या फिर that kind of structure. But yes, this is true for our country. ठीक है. The literacy rate among women is 54% compared to men, which is 76. The proportion of women who are highly paid, in valued jobs are still very small. So जब हम wage gap की बात करते हैं, very important concept of wage gap, people think कि अगर किसी एक wage gap कहाँ exist करता है, जिस कंपनी में मैं काम करता हूँ और जहाँ पे वो लेडी काम करती है, हम लोगों को सेम सैलरी मिलती है. That's not the point. The point is कि उस कंपनी में कितने % लोग आपकी सैलरी पर मेल्स हैं और कितने % फीमेल्स हैं. आप स्टेम में आइए, विच इज साइंस टेक्नोलॉजी इंजीनियरिंग मैथमेटिक्स, जो हमारा साइंस का बैकग्राउंड है, उसमें आप देखोगे दैट विमेन आर ग्रोसली अंडर रिप्रेजेंटेड. या आप देखो कि वर्ल्ड सीईओज के जो आप नाम सुनते हो उनमें कितनी विमेन है. सो दैट्स द वेज गैप, कि हाई पेइंग पोजिशंस पे विमेन आर नॉट गेटिंग द अपॉर्चुनिटी विच इज द सेम एज मेन. राइट. इट इज, अब ऐसा तो हो नहीं सकता कि पूरे वर्ल्ड में 99% ऑफ द मेन who are at those CEO positions, they are better, objectively better than their women counterparts. ऐसा नहीं हो सकता. Obviously there is some structural societal play in this. ठीक है. So that's the wage gap. The wage gap is not whether you are working and the woman is working and you're getting the same pay. It's that how many people in your salary area are women. कितने % women को उतनी high salary मिल रही है या उतनी low salary मिल रही है, ठीक है. Equal Wages Act ये लो आ गया, provides equal wages should be paid to equal work. However, in most areas of work, from sports to cinema, women are paid less than men even when both do exactly the same work. Or if they are not paid less, they are given less opportunities than men. Firstly, आप ये देखो सबसे बड़ा issue ये है that household work का उनको पैसे नहीं मिलते. For being a housewife, you do not get pension. You do not get any kind of reward from monetary reward for doing home chores. जो कि अगर एक प्रोफेशनल करेंगे तो वो पैसे चार्ज करेंगे, बट स्टिल मम्मी या जो भी फीमेल्स हैं उनको ये नहीं मिलता है. दैट इज एन एग्जाम्पल. In many parts of India, parents prefer to have sons and find ways to have the girl child aborted before she is born. Such sex-selective abortion has led to a decline in the child sex ratio, number of girl child per 1,000 boys, and in the country is merely 933. As the map shows, this ratio has fallen below 850 or even 800 in some places. Yes, and if you don't think it exists now, it does. People find out loopholes, ways to loopholes and ways to ensure that we will find out the sex of our child, and they try their best to get them aborted. So that's very, very wrong. Female feticide is so very wrong and still exists, and educated people are doing it as well. So yeah, that's sad. That's very sad for us and for them as a country. We should not be doing this. Okay, let's talk about women's political representation. India, the proportion of women in legislature has been very low. For example, the percentage of elected women in members in the Lok Sabha has crossed 10% of its total strength. So there are 100 people, less than 10 will be women. Okay, their share in the state assemblies is less than 5%. In this respect, India is among the bottom group of nations in the world, even behind African and Latin American countries. One way to solve this problem is to make it legally binding to have a fair proportion. 1/3 of the seats in the local government bodies in panchayats are now reserved for women. Yes, that's a good push. So please don't complain about reservation and the one extra dabba that we get in metros, because it is actually, they're very underrepresented, and you can see, I think women already, a lot of them see the problem with patriarchal norms, with the underrepresentation of women, but it's sad to say that when men start seeing these problems, then that actual change will occur, है ना? तो ये तो गलत है, but still, women's organizations and activists have been demanding a similar reservation for at least 1/3 seats in Lok Sabha. Can you imagine कि 10% अभी तक exist करता है, and all we are asking for is 33%, and people are still getting triggered about it. That no, that's not true. इसमें जैसे ही आप affirmative action की बात करते हो कि ये group disadvantage है, इसको आगे बढ़ाओ, people always start talking about equal opportunities. So that is not true, because politics is not a game of equal opportunities. We can see nepotism, we can see it is not equal opportunity. There are certain credentials that will obviously, if you are really rich, it's pretty easy to become a politician. So that's also inequality. So it's not like कि अगर हम 1/3 seats reserve कर देंगे, then एक affirmative action को ही people are complaining about that. Gender division is an example that some form social division needs to be expressed in politics. ठीक है. Similar हम बात करते हैं religion, communalism and politics की. Communalism क्या होता है? ये communism नहीं है, communalism है. ठीक है, थोड़ा सा डिफरेंस है, काफी डिफरेंस है दोनों टर्म्स में. कम्युनलिज्म होता है व्हेन रिलीजन इज ब्रॉट इनटू पॉलिटिक्स, एंड गेम प्ले वहां से शुरू हो जाता है. ठीक है, गांधी जी यूज्ड टू से दैट रिलीजन कैन नेवर बी सेपरेटेड फ्रॉम पॉलिटिक्स. एग्जैक्टली, इट शुड बी, बट इट कैन नेवर बी सेपरेटेड. Human rights groups in our country have argued that most of the victims of communal rights in our country are people from religious minorities. Is anyone shocked? Obviously not, because the minorities are the ones that are getting suppressed. Okay, so because it is easier for the majorities to suppress them. Women's movement has argued family laws for all religions discriminate against women, so they have demanded the government should change these laws to make them more equitable. Yes, so that's another part. For instance, I think the triple talaq was such exactly the example for family law that discriminated against women, and a lot of women approached the court, and I think the Supreme Court struck it down a while ago, which was greatly celebrated among Muslim women. So that's good. Even in Hindu structures, even in Christian structures, बहुत सारे हर religion के अंदर there are lots of laws that are against women and against minorities. Okay, people should be able to express in their political interests and interests as a member of a religious community. Those who hold political power should sometimes be able to regulate the practice of religion so as to prevent discrimination and oppression. I think I saw a very good piece on Scoop Poop, one of the channels that I love, about the underrepresentation of Muslim women in mosques. क्यों नहीं जाने देते वहां पे नमाज पढ़ने के लिए, एंड इट वाज an amazing video. Even in some Hindu temples, there is a caste. I have personally been to a temple where I think there was a board that said that if you belong to a certain caste, don't enter the temple. So that is still existent in the country, and yeah, we should really buck up to fight these dominant forces. ठीक है, कम्युनलिज्म की बात करते हैं. नॉर्दर्न आयरलैंड में हम वी हैव ऑलरेडी डिस्कस्ड इन कॉन्टेक्स्ट ऑफ आवर ओन कंट्री. हम बात करते हैं कम्युनल पॉलिटिक्स क्या होती है. बेस्ड ऑन द आइडिया दैट रिलीजन इज द प्रिंसिपल बेसिस ऑफ सोशल कम्युनिटी. दैट मीन्स इंडिया में नंबर 1 अगर आप कम्युनिटीज की बात करोगे तो आप ये नहीं बोलोगे कि रिच कौन सा है और पुअर कितने हैं और एम्प्लॉयड कितने हैं और अनएम्प्लॉयड कितने हैं. ठीक है, आप ये सोचोगे कि हिंदू कितने हैं और मुसलमान कितने हैं. दैट्स द कम्युनलिज्म. इसको कहते हैं कम्युनलिज्म. The followers of a particular religion must belong to one community. The fundamental interests are the same. Any difference that they may have is irrelevant or trivial to communal life. So, जैसे I think कुछ लोग बोलते हैं कि हमें तो जी ये दिखता ही नहीं है हिंदू मुसलमान, या हमें तो, मैं तो कहता हूँ कि आदमी मत देखो औरत मत देखो, बस ये देखो कि you know who is deserving. But yeah, that's not true because it's not an equal playing ground, है ना. अगर एक बंदा, आप मेजॉरिटी, अगर आपने अपनी लाइफ में कभी डिस्क्रिमिनेशन फेस नहीं किया है एज अ यू नो अपर क्लास, then obviously the discrimination has not brought you down and devoid you of certain opportunities. Whereas a lower caste, the Dalit person has faced that kind of discrimination, or a person from a religious minority has been called a terrorist, has faced those discriminative episodes, and that has really backtracked their progress. So ऐसी बात नहीं है. Those two do not have an equal playing ground. एक का playing ground इधर है, एक का इधर है. तो अगर दोनों ने इतना अचीव किया या फिर इसने इतना अचीव किया तो उन्होंने नेट अचीवमेंट उनका ज्यादा होता है. ये समझना बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. कम्युनल पॉलिटिक्स इसको नहीं समझती. दे थिंक दैट दिस इशू डजंट एग्जिस्ट. If the followers of a different religion have some commonalities that are superficial, then they are superficial and immaterial. The interests are bound to be different and involve a conflict. Either one of them has to dominate or the rest have to form different nations. So जो ये आजकल चल रहा है, खालिस्तानी को अलग बना दो जी, मुसलमानों का अलग बना दो, that is pure communalism. That if you are belonging to a different religious community, then form a different nation, because only one community can live in one nation. This is very very World War II अगर आप पढ़ेंगे आगे जाके, very typical of world politics. ऐसा होता है, बहुत बार होता है ऐसा. But that's not the essence of the Indian Constitution, because we are a secular nation. Okay, this belief is fundamentally flawed. People of one religion do not have the same interests and aspirations in every context, but हम लोग सब पहले we are all Indians. That's what we must realize. Okay, and we follow the Indian Constitution, not the Hindu or not the Islamic Constitution. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. ठीक है. So communalism can take various forms in politics. Obviously, religious prejudices, stereotypes of religious communities, and belief in their superiority over one's religions. हर community और religion ये सोचता है कि मैं दूसरे से better हूँ. तो that is very normal. एक minimal group paradigm होता है. आप पढ़ना उसको psychology में. This kind of explains why this happens. Communal mind often leads to quest of political dominance. सबके leader सोचते हैं कि भाई हमारे group का leader prime minister बन जाए, हमारे group का leader chief minister बन जाए. ठीक है. Political mobilization on religious lines is another frequent form of communalism. Sometimes communalism takes the most ugly form of communal violence. India and Pakistan have suffered from such communal violence. हमने पता है आपको कि इंडिया के अंदर भी और पार्टीशन के टाइम भी बहुत ज्यादा communal violence हुआ था on the basis of Hindu and Muslim. ठीक है. तो अब बात करते हैं सेक्युलर स्टेट की. नंबर 1, हमारी कोई भी ऑफिशियल रिलीजन नहीं है. वी आर नॉट अलाउड टू हैव एन ऑफिशियल रिलीजन, ऑल्दो मेजॉरिटी ऑफ द पॉपुलेशन इज हिंदू, बट आवर ऑफिशियल रिलीजन इज नॉट हिंदू. इट इज नथिंग. ठीक है. In Sri Lanka, it is Buddhism. In Pakistan, it is Islam. And England is Christianity. They are not secular nations. The Constitution provides to all individuals and communities freedoms to profess. ये तो आपने पढ़ा होगा, fundamental right में ही है. अपना religion, आप you can propagate your religion, you can practice your religion. Constitution prohibits discrimination on the grounds of religion. At the same time, it allows the state to intervene in the matters of religion. For example, it bans untouchability. ठीक है. किसी के साथ कोई problem हो रहा है तो state ये नहीं बोलेगा कि oh I cannot handle it, you go. You can obviously approach the court. Okay. Finally, let's talk about the caste politics and caste inequality. This is something that I have talked about a lot before also. Caste system is an extreme form of when occupations are passed from one generation to another. I think I was watching this one video where Someone was justifying it, calling it division of labor, but it's not division of labor when it's forced on you. If I force you to become a teacher, if I force you to become a domestic worker, if I force you to, become a cleaner, then that is not division of labor, that is forced division of labor. Okay? There is a difference. That's very wrong. ऐसा नहीं बोलना चाहिए. Members of the same caste were supposed to form a social community that practiced same or similar occupation, married within the caste, and did not eat with other members of the caste group. ठीक है? ये गलत है because when you cannot control what you are born into, and nobody should force your right to. It is basically directly in violation with the fundamental right if someone is telling me that I cannot practice an occupation with my right to freedom. ठीक है? So, with economic development, large scale urbanization, growth of literacy, occupational mobility, urbanization मतलब जो हमारे cities build हो गए हैं, है ना? Caste hierarchy is breaking down, but we also need, as citizens of the country, we also need to actively go and break it down. We need to voice, the concerns, and obviously bring the appropriate people to voice their concerns onto the प्लेटफॉर्म. ठीक है? तो ऑल्दो मॉडर्नाइजेशन की वजह से थोड़ा सा कास्ट सिस्टम ट्रिकल डाउन हुआ है, बट स्टिल इनइक्वालिटीज एग्जिस्ट एंड दे मस्ट बी एड्रेस्ड. ओके? इवन नाउ मोस्ट पीपल मैरी विद इन देयर सेम कास्ट और ट्राइब. आपने भी सुना होगा कि नहीं उन्होंने डिफरेंट कास्ट की, या किसी ने कर ली होती है अगर डिफरेंट कास्ट के इंसान से शादी, तो फिर लोग बड़ा वो करते हैं कि ओ माय गॉड दे मैरिड इन अ डिफरेंट कास्ट. So the caste groups that had access to education under the old system have done very well in acquiring modern education as well. So those groups that did not have access obviously are prohibited from, naturally they lag behind. That's why the large presence of upper caste and upper middle class, urban middle class in our country. तो अगर आप देखोगे हमारे एरिया में जहाँ पे आप रहते हो, जो भी आपका एक whatever area that you're staying in, most people in that area will be similar to you in terms of caste. Whether you're staying in a rich or middle class or poor area, still that obviously proves that there is still casteism in the country. ठीक है? कास्ट पॉलिटिक्स में भी एग्जिस्ट करती है. इलेक्शन में लोग स्पेशली कैंडिडेट्स को ऐसे चूज करते हैं कि इनको दलित वोट मिलेगा इसलिए इनको टिकट दे दो. ठीक है? यूनिवर्सल फ्रैंचाइज बट है, सो ऑब्वियसली दे गियर अप टू मोबिलाइज द सपोर्ट. दैट्स वेरी गुड बिकॉज दैट इज द ओनली वे दैट द प्लीज ऑफ द पुअर एंड द डिस्क्रिमिनेटेड अगेंस्ट आर हर्ड. बट समटाइम्स क्या होता है, द फोकस ऑन कास्ट इन पॉलिटिक्स कैन समटाइम्स गिव एन इंप्रेशन दैट इलेक्शंस आर ऑल अबाउट द कास्ट. For example, but यहाँ पर no, but just consider these: no parliamentary constituency in a country has a clear majority of one single caste. So every candidate and party needs to win the confidence of more than one caste. जैसे कहते हैं ना कि ये कैंडिडेट इसलिए इलेक्ट हो गया कि इन वाली कास्ट ने या इन वाले रिलीजन ने इनको वोट दिया है, बट ऐसा नहीं है. इवन विद इन द सेम रिलीजन और सेम कास्ट यू कैन हैव डिफरेंट ओपिनियंस. ठीक है? नो पार्टी विन्स द वोट्स ऑफ द वोटर्स ऑफ अ कास्ट और कम्युनिटी. ऐसा नहीं होता कभी पूरी कम्युनिटी ने एक ही बंदे को वोट दिया है. ठीक है? Many political parties may put up the candidates from the same caste, but they still lose sometimes, and some voters have more than one candidate from the same caste. Exactly. ठीक है? I think for most of our lifetime we have had, in terms of religion, we have had a pretty homogeneous choice. ये भी हिंदू है, वो भी हिंदू है, इन दोनों में से एक चूज करना है ना? इस टाइप का हमारा as far as prime ministership is concerned. The ruling party and the sitting MP or MLA frequently lose elections in our country. This could not have happened अगर सिर्फ caste और community के नाम पे elections हो रहे होते. Politics influences caste system and caste identifies by bringing them into the political arena. ठीक है? Each caste group tries to become bigger by incorporating the neighboring states in it. Various caste groups are required to enter coalition. वो भी करते हैं. और new kinds of caste groups have come up in political arena. Backward or forward class का इन्होंने एक setup बनाया है. ठीक है? These are all ways of mobilizing support, and I hope you were able to appreciate the differences that exist in our society even now. I really hope that as you grow into adults, you do acknowledge and help break down these systematic, discrimination setups that have existed for a very long time. If you have any questions or comments, please drop them in the comment section and do subscribe to the channel. Thank you for listening.